This is an emergency message for anyone planning to open their door this Halloween night. Please pay close attention. If your dog starts barking when trick-or-treaters show up, do not open the door. Do not give out candy. And under no circumstances should you say the words trick or treat, because sometimes the ones standing outside aren't kids at all. Every year, in different towns, reports emerge showing the same disturbing pattern. The lights are on, laughter outside sounds normal, but the dogs know. They bark, growl, or hide right before anyone opens the door. That barking isn't fear, it's recognition. Tonight's broadcast will share 3 cases that occurred last October 31st. 3 homes, 3 choices, 1 ancient pattern repeating again. Case 1, Salem, Massachusetts. The Phillips family was enjoying a quiet Halloween evening. Their porch glowed with pumpkin lights, a candy bowl waiting by the door. Laughter drifted through the neighborhood as families passed by. At around 8:30 p.m., the doorbell rang. The Labrador began barking wildly, staring at the door and refusing to move. The father chuckled, saying, "It's all right, buddy, just the neighbor kids." He opened the door, and there they were. 3 small figures standing completely still on the porch. Each wore the same white mask with a drawn-on smile. No noise, no movement, just 3 buckets lifted together in unison. The father hesitated, a cold chill crawling up his neck. He recognized those costumes from earlier that night. He was certain these were the same kids who had already come by. Trying to be polite, he gave a nervous laugh and dropped candy into their buckets. But the buckets were empty. No wrappers, no crumbs, no trace they'd ever held candy. The figures turned silently and walked away in perfect step, their footsteps making no sound on the pavement. When the father looked down the street moments later, they were gone. The road was empty, the night suddenly far too quiet. Later that night, the scratching began. Soft at first, then more deliberate, like tiny hands dragging along the wood. The father assumed it was just kids coming back for fun. He opened the door again, but there were only 3 empty buckets sitting on the porch. Inside, the dog barked toward the dining room, pacing in circles. By morning, the house was still warm, dinner set, lights on, but the Phillips family was gone. Their pictures still hung on the walls, but every face had disappeared. Only the dog remained, barking at chairs that were no longer filled. Case 2, Northern Idaho. A small town surrounded by forest, where neighbors still trusted each other. Around 9 p.m., a mother and her son heard the faint ring of the doorbell. The boy smiled, grabbing the candy bowl. Their golden retriever barked and ran to the door, growling deep in its throat. Through the peephole, the mother saw 3 children, or what seemed like children, wearing mismatched masks. She noticed one costume from earlier, the little girl from next door. She smiled, thinking, "It's just the neighbors." When she opened the door, the group stayed silent. They held their buckets out, heads tilted. Trying to ease the tension, the mother said, "All right, trick or treat." The one in front stepped forward, stretching out a small hand, not to take candy, but to drop something into her bowl. A single wrapped chocolate. Before she could react, the group turned and walked away, heading into the woods behind the house. The dog lunged forward, barking violently, but she grabbed its collar. She looked down. A small trail of candy now stretched from her doorstep into the trees. Her son laughed. "They're playing a trick," he said, and before she could stop him, he dashed after the trail. The dog broke free, racing ahead of him, blocking his path. That's when she saw them again, the 3 masked figures standing deep among the trees, motionless. Their heads tilted at the same angle, buckets hanging by their sides. The mother froze. Then, without a sound, the figures were gone. The candy trail vanished too. When she and her son turned back toward the house, the power went out. Every window went black. The only sound was the dog's low growl. 2 minutes later, the lights came back on. On the porch sat a single pumpkin carved with a wide, open eye. By morning, every clock in the neighborhood showed the same time, 3:12 a.m. Case 3, Chicago, Illinois. An apartment complex downtown. A woman sat alone with her dog, scrolling through her phone as faint laughter echoed in the hallway. Around midnight, someone knocked. Her dog went crazy, barking at the door, tail stiff, teeth showing. She peeked through the peephole and saw 3 trick-or-treaters, same masks, same height, just standing there. She sighed in relief. Probably kids from downstairs, she thought, grabbing a handful of candy. But when she looked again, they hadn't moved. Not even a breath. She hesitated, stepping back. The dog barked louder. Then the knocking stopped. Moments later, faint tapping moved down the hallway, door by door. Her phone buzzed. A text from her neighbor read, "Don't open. They're not kids." Her heart raced. She turned off the lights and crouched beside her dog. Everything went silent. Then, at exactly 3:12 a.m., the intercom buzzed on its own. Static filled the speaker, followed by a whisper, "You didn't choose." Her dog lunged toward the mirror, barking and scratching wildly. When she turned, the glass was fogged from the inside. Tiny fingerprints pressed against it, sliding down slowly. By morning, the door was still locked from the inside, but the woman was gone. The apartment was silent. Only the dog remained, pacing and growling at its reflection. Investigators later confirmed all 3 incidents occurred hundreds of miles apart, yet all at 3:12 a.m. In every case, dogs barked uncontrollably before the events began. Security cameras glitched. Thermometers showed sudden drops in temperature. No trick-or-treaters were ever identified. Folklore experts linked these stories to an ancient ritual, one older than Halloween itself. Legends tell of visitors arriving in groups of 3, offering a choice, trick or treat. Each answer seals a different fate. Those who say treat are erased, their existence wiped from memory. Those who choose trick disappear into impossible spaces. Those who refuse to answer are marked until they finally decide. And they always start with houses that have dogs. If your dog barks tonight, don't answer. Turn off your lights. Close your curtains. Do not speak through the door. If you hear knocking after midnight, ignore it. If you find candy outside your home, do not touch it. If your phone rings at 3:12 a.m. with no caller ID, let it ring. Every Halloween, laughter hides something ancient, watching through masks that never blink. Somewhere in the crowd, 3 figures will walk together. They'll stop only at houses where a dog senses them first. Remember this message. Keep your dog close. And if it starts barking at nothing, it's not nothing. It's warning you. Where the barking begins, the visitors are near. Where silence falls afterward, they've already chosen their next door. Do not be the one who opens it.